Uh, Good evening, everyone. It's the weekend, Memorial Day, and I'd like to welcome you to Painting with One of Wisdom. On today's show, Painting with One of Wisdom, we're going to paint things with me, One of Wisdom. Uh, Ran out and picked up some supplies this afternoon, and we've got a tough, burly dirt shark here who I thought we could treat to a slight color configuration change, if you will. This is a dirt shark by the name of Terrafin. He's a former boxer. This is his Series 3 pose, you can tell by the blue base there. And this is, of course, in relation to his Wow Pal. But he's a great character. Looks real menacing, real tough, but thought we'd just give him a splash of color. Perhaps some daffodil yellow, frolicking meadow blue, and who knows what we might wind up with, a nice robin's egg hue. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started painting Terrafin. Alright, so cheesy introduction aside, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. If you've watched any of that was a really lame introduction, by the way, I'm fully aware of it. But growing up, I don't know what they do now, but growing up, they're always like the art show people. Not necessarily like art show like buy and sell, but like the crazy guy with like the crazy hair that talks pretty much like that, maybe even a little bit weirder, and he just, now we're gonna take a sky blue and swirl it. You know, just weird stuff like that. I have no idea if it still exists. I don't know if anyone's gonna know what I'm talking about, but it was like on your local public TV with Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street. It was like the adult programming, I guess. Not sure how many people watched it. That's probably why it may not exist, but nonetheless, what I was getting at, I have obviously a lot of Skylanders, many of which I have duplicates of and I've kept in the packaging. I did that, one, some of them I want to keep sealed, like a kickoff countdown, etc. But two, it actually helps me tell them apart. I've got two Fright Riders, over here, like from Skylanders Giants. I've got this one out of the packaging, upgraded fully down one path, and I've got another one still in the packaging. And I do that simply so I can tell them apart. Obviously, with the swappers, I've got two of a lot of each characters, those that don't overlap with like a legendary or a dark version or something. I've got an extra one. Some of those that actually overlap, just like the other night I mentioned on the Power A Skylands, I had another Blast Zone. This is the one from the X-Bone starter pack. Picked up the Wii U starter pack way back in the day. Got the Dark Edition, that covers those two. And then I've just got this guy sitting here, and I thought, I want Dark Blast Zone to have the best pass possible for my playstyle. Kind of took this guy through, checked everything out. But many of you probably in the same boat, maybe when you bought Nitro Magna Charge, for example. He is available in a single pack now, which I don't think I've seen in person. But back in the day, it was a twin pack, and you either got it with Rattleshake or Free Ranger. Issue there, if you bought the 3DS version of the game like I did, you already had Rattleshake and Free Ranger. So I've got this spare Rattleshake. Issue with him, I was fortunate enough to actually win one of the quick draw Rattleshakes. So he's just kind of a loose figure. Had to unbox him to get to Nitro Magna Charge, and then I've just kind of got this guy hanging around. So needless to say, there are several Skylanders that fall into that category where they could use, some customization. It's nothing to lose. They're out of the packaging. You'll have the one intact. Some of you probably prefer your custom work. Others thinks it's blasphemy. I don't know. I just think it's kind of something different and cool to do. This is my spare Knockout Terrafin. He's my favorite character. What I'd always wanted to do with him. And the rain just hit, and I have not showered. I'm probably up a creek, so I'll probably spend a couple hours painting this guy. But nonetheless, something I always wanted to do. When he came out in this pose, I thought, this would be perfect for that. What I'm referring to is I've always been waiting for Legendary Terrafin. He hasn't been there yet, despite having Series 1, 2, and 3. Slam Bam got it. He was in an adventure pack. Sunburn and Ghost Roaster both kind of disappeared. Haven't been back in Series 2 or Series 3. And it's kind of odd to me that he hasn't been selected for Legendary form yet. There's a couple others like that, but I thought this pose would be very well suited for that. Plus, there's a lot of like flat areas that I thought might be easy to paint, and it was really tempting. I'm finally going to try it. Earlier today we ran up, had some errands to do as the family. I was in a craft store, somewhere I'm not usually at, and found a couple of cool Skylanders things, threw the pictures up on Twitter. Picked up some brushes. Have no idea if what I got is any good, horrible. I don't really care if it gets paint from the product to what I want it on, but we got the blue ones. They're made out of... thought I read camel hair somewhere, I don't know, but they're blue, that's what I know. Here's the camel hair brushes. I think these were maybe a little cheaper, but I just tried to have a wide variety. The reason I got this pack, they have a lot more of the narrow tips, which I figured I'd need painting something small. Colors, there's lots of colors out there. I'm not a huge fan of that dark blue they use on the legendaries. I can finally tweak that with my custom figure. What I wound up first was True Blue. I thought this was a pretty cool looking color. And then I was kind of thinking, you know, I could do a lighter color. Wound up with Blue Lagoon. And I thought maybe those two would go well together. And then I stayed around there so long, I found a Blue Metallic, which should be wicked awesome. I think that's what I'm going to paint him with. Accent colors, I think I'm going to use this Steel Gray on Knockout Terrafin. As you know, I don't like gold or brass. For those of you that doubt that, you're about to see I'm being totally honest when I change that color. And then I thought if this was like a hit with people, or if obviously there's a few other Skylanders I'll have duplicates of, like Blast Zone, you know, Bumble Blast, characters like that. Picked up a wide variety. Blast Zone, what comes to mind, of course, yellow and black. Lemon Zest is the technical name color here. Black. Figured I'd need that for some accenting. Probably should have bought white now that I think about it. Jack-o'-lantern orange, no clue what I'm going to do with that, but I was in there and I probably won't be back for a long time, so I figured I'd better prep. Then I have lipstick red right there. Kind of looks orange on the camera. Trust me, it's like a true red color. You can probably see that now that it's down there beside the jack-o'-lantern orange. And then my nephew's favorite color is green. Not necessarily this shade, but this is like a sublime color. They call it apple green. It's a different kind of an apple, I suppose, but I thought there's a couple of cool things I could do with that. That's all I have right now. That paint was like a dirt cheap. I guess actually I wound up and I got like the upper end of it or something, but it was like $1.39 for each one of those. There were some that were like half that price, some that were around $2. I really don't know the difference in the quality or anything. I'm just kind of doing all this as a shot in the dark. Brushes you can probably get way cheaper. I was just there, and like I said, I'm not in those types of stores often, so I just kind of grab stuff and I'll see what happens. Now, full disclosure, there's a lot of people, you know, the Wii U and the Miiverse, you always see these crazy drawings and stuff people do. There's probably been a lot of really awesome custom painted Skylanders. I don't really keep up on that stuff. What I'm trying to say, I'm not an idiot. You know, I was always in the AP classes, you know, in high school, everything like that. Good grades. My lowest grade in high school, you'll probably never guess what it was. You might think calculus, trigonometry, algebra, something crazy, physics or something. My lowest grade was art. How that is even possible, I have no freaking clue. Still to this day, it blows my mind. I was getting, art to me is like choir. You know, it's mandatory that you take it, so if you show up and do what you're supposed to do, you should get the ubiquitous 95 and you're done with it. No, I was doing things and I was getting, you know, like 78s and just these like mystical numbers. I have no clue how the woman even comes up with it. Art to me is totally subjective. That's why you have some people that throw a gallon of paint on the wall and people come in, drink wine and eat cheese and say it's the greatest thing in the world. Another person comes by and they're like, that's absolute trash. So some people dig it, some people don't. I don't really care. I don't get into that stuff. I'm a simple guy. Put me in a different setting, you know, you talk about cars, yeah, I can work with that. But art as a whole, not really my cup of tea. Funny thing though, I joined the art club and all of a sudden my stuff that was worth, it was $5 and I got a hall pass basically. But all of a sudden my stuff that was worthless was now supposed to go to contests. So amazing what that can do for you. Gives you a glimpse of the real world, I suppose. But may not be great at this stuff. This may come out looking horrible. I figured I'd give it a go, see what I can do. If it turns out cool or people enjoy it, you know, I'll do a few more. Not going to video this just yet. I'll just show the finished product. We'll take it from there. But again, my apologies on the cheesy intro. I just figured I'd roll with it. Next time you see this guy, he should be fully painted in whatever crazy conspiracy colors I pick. So check back for that. Let me know if you have anything you want to see, if you think it's a great idea, horrible. Throw it out in the comments section. As always, make sure you're subscribed. That way when I finish this, even if people say don't do that, you'll get to see it for better or worse. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Again, thanks for watching, and next time you see this Series 3 Knockout Terrafin, he will not look like this. So stay tuned. Hopefully it turns out like I want it to. If I get what I see in my head to this actual figure, it'll be cool. Otherwise, it'll be a total disaster, but I'll still showcase it for you and probably cut my losses at this $1.39 paint. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and we will catch you back here for the reveal of Knockout Terrafin.